All right, so let's talk about equations with more than one fraction in them. So sometimes there is more than one fraction in an equation, like the one shown. So in those cases, you should clear the denominators. The way that you do what I'm referring to as clear the denominators is look at the denominators first. Decide on what is the least common multiple of the different denominators that you're given that each of the denominators can divide into. Sometimes it's a matter of just multiplying the denominators together. So looking at this equation that's given, I have q over 15 minus 1 over 5 equals 3/5. So my denominators are 15, 5, and 5. Well, what's the least common multiple? Well, you can think about multiples as, remember, counting by like 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then the multiples of 15 would be 15, 30, 45, 60. And then there was 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So what's the least common multiple? Well, isn't the least common multiple 15? The first time that they match up. So I want to multiply all the fractions by that least common multiple. So let's look at the problem. So I'm going to rewrite my problem, q over 15, and I'm going to multiply each section. So notice this section is here, and then I do minus 15, and this section is what I put next, just so you can see what we're doing, equals, and then I put 15, and then this section is next. So look at this for just a second. I don't want crayon. And notice that all I did was rewrite the equation, except outside of each of the sections I put 15, and I'm multiplying by that 15. Now, what happens when we multiply a fraction by a constant? Well, this 15 and this 15 in the denominator are the same, so they cancel each other out, and it leaves me with 1. And then I multiply that 1 by whatever's in the numerator. 1 times q is q. And then I have a minus sign, minus. And then looking at this problem, this 15 and this 5 are not the same. What is 15 divided by 5? 15 divided by 5, so the 5 cancels, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. And then I multiply that number by what's up top. 3 times 1 is 3. Then bring down the equals. And then in the next one, I have a 5 and a 15. 15 divided by 5, so the 5 goes away. 15 divided by 5 is 3. And then multiply 3 times 3 is 9. Now, this big equation right here has turned into the little equation q minus 3 equals 9. And if I want to solve that equation, all I have to move is the 3. So q equals 12 is my answer. Okay? So let's look at another example. All right, I went through and made that stuff a little bit smaller really quick. Paused. Okay, so first thing we want to do is notice that in this equation I have a 1. Well, excuse me, I don't have a number underneath the right-hand side, so I have to remember that every constant is over 1. If it's already a fraction, you're okay. If not, make it into a fraction by putting a 1 underneath it, putting it over a 1. So now what I'm examining is the 5, the 2, and the 1. Well, we know 1 goes into anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? But the multiples of 5, let's think. We have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And then what about the multiples of 2? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Oh, we have an overlap. So 10 is that multiple of both of those numbers that I can use to simplify this equation to clear the fraction. So first thing I do is I write down 10, and then I'm going to write down this first equation, so 2x over 5 minus, before I write the next part, 10 times that 1/2 equals 10 times 5 over 1. So notice again, I'm not going to color code them all. This was my original equation pieces. And all I did was multiply each term by that 10 because that 10 was what repeated between the two. So now I look and I have a 5 in the bottom and a 10. So 10 divided by 5 is 2, and 2 times 2x is 4x. Then I bring down the minus sign just like it is. And then I have a 2 and a 10. Well, 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. And then we bring down the equal sign just like it is. And I have a 1 and a 10. 10 divided by 1 is 10. 10 times 5 equals 50. So now I've taken that really nasty looking equation and I now have the two-step equation 4x minus 5 equals 50. So to solve this equation, by now I know I move the 5 by adding it. And I move the 4 by dividing. So x equals 55 over 4. So that's my answer. All right, so looking at the next problem. First thing I want to point out is, do you notice how this n is to the right-hand side? That's the same thing as saying that it's up top. So this and this is exactly the same. You can always put the variable up top. So I'm going to rewrite it so that my variable's up top. And then I'm going to look at the denominators. So I have a 5, a 3, and a 3 that I need to think of. So what is the least common multiple? Well, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Maybe that's enough. 5, 10, 15. Oh, there it is. 15 is that least common multiple. So I'm going to pull this to the side for a minute. So that means I'm going to multiply everything by 15. So 15, and then I put my first term, minus 15, and then the second term, equals 15, and then the third term. And then moving a little bit quicker now. 15 divided by 5 is 3, and 3 times 1n is 3n, minus 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 5 times 1 is 5, equals 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 5 times 8 is 40. So then I solve this equation. Remember, we do addition or subtraction first. This cancels, gives me 45, and then we would divide by 3 equals 15. All right, so now let's look at the next problem. So I have where I can put the u up top, but I have 3 numbers, so I have to see where all 3 of them overlap, 3 different denominators. So I say 4, 8, 12, 16, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 8, 16, and I say, whoa, wait a minute. Here's an 8, here's an 8, there's an 8. So the least common multiple is 8. So then I'm going to multiply everything by 8. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 2 times 3 is 6u. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 4 times 1 is 4. 8 divided by 8 is 1, and 1 times 7 is 7. So then we just solve the equation. So 6u equals 3. Divide both sides by 6. U equals 3 over 6, which can simplify to be 1/2. So So our answer is 3 over 6 or 1/2. All right, a couple more really quick. Remember, I need everything fractions, so I put it over 1. Then I think about the numbers. Well, the least common multiple between 3 and 4 is 12. So 12, remember that y can go up top. And this is a y, not a 4. Times 12 times 12. And then I go through and multiply. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And 4 times 2y is 8y. Plus 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 12 divided by 1 is 12. And then 12 times negative 5 is negative 60. Then we just solve. So 8y equals negative 63. And then we divide both sides by 8. So y equals negative 63 over 8 is the answer, because that does not simplify. So moving along over here, put over 1. Well, the least common multiple between the 2 and the 5 is 10. So 10 is 1/2. Remember that x can go up top. Plus 10 times 3/5 equals 10 times 3 over 1. And we multiply, or excuse me, we simplify. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 1x is 5x. Plus 10 divided by 5 is 2. And 2 times 3 is 6. And 10 divided by 1 is 10. And 10 times 3 is 30. And now we subtract the 6. 5x is going to give me 24. And we divide by 5. So x equals 24 over 5 is the answer. Now I know I'm moving quickly because you can pause this video and work it out and then just go over the parts you need to get extra help with. Okay? All right. That was it.